pushed off in pursuit. On the third morning, the president, to be surprised, and quickly subdued the thieves, right. A triumphant Roosevelt snapped a picture above his two deputies, the bearded Bill Sewall and Will Dow, then dragged the dejected felons to jail. And Rick, the proud Teddy Roosevelt, was somehow bemused when, far from being praised for his feat, he was confronted by an old rancher who asked why Roosevelt had made all this fuss instead of hanging them offhand. That you're having a break here. Cracked open when it tumbled onto a creek bed, this colorful object, called a concretion, reveals its innards of black shale shot through within the orange mineral siderite. Concentrations form inside sedimentary rocks when their minerals collect around a small foreign body, much in the way that a pearl forms within an oyster. There's the red stuff inside. So thick with mud that it oozes rather than flows, Sage Creek gives no limit then of the erosive force of waters that once poured through this valley, scoring the overlying sediments and cutting deeply into the underpinnings of pure shale. In this view, the striated cliff at center is pure shale eroded and redeposited by the ancient waters, which also left bands of light-colored sediment washed off surrounding slopes. The dark bank at the far right is pure shale too, carried down to the creek's edge by rain and runoff. See that? Eroded into the shape of a lumbering centipede, this mound of compacted clay, sand, gravel, and volcanic ash supports a wisp of sod. There's the sod. I think these are sunflowers. The physical history of the Badlands is revealed in this striated beauty. Each of the color bands shown here is made up of a different rock. Mudstone laid down during dry times has Pierce's dark band siltstone. The product of wetter areas is light. See that? Under a still hot June sky, the White River lies like a glistening film on its bed. During dry periods when the river is sluggish, as here, sediments uprated from upstream rocks drop down through the water to settle on the bottom, but during the cloud bursts, the swollen river rages through its valley to sweep away the sediments and turn to the banks on both sides. Not yet scarred by erosion, this plain supports a rich grassland. The slopes of a ravine, sliced by runoff water, still provide a tenuous foothold for vegetation. Clumps of grasses growing together to conserve moisture and share a root system are the only greenery that can survive a landscape that was once a gentle plain. Beyond the sheared silts and clay flanks of an eroded Badlands gully lies a curious series of sod-covered terraces, a legacy of the increased precipitation during the Ice Age. These terraces resulted as engorged rivers dropped their rich sediments in the valley. Here's a ravine here. This is once a dry river. Sheep Mountain Table, where wild Audubon bighorns used to graze, was once an extensive upland prairie. It continues to shrink each year from the inroads of small streams eating away its flanks, filled with abrasive rocks and clay dug from the slopes. The streams have already cut almost entirely through Sheep Mountain Table in one spot, upper left center, and in other geological eye length, these waters will reduce the mesa to nothing. Reverse. Vertical dikes stand out conspicuously left from the horizontal grain of their surrounding rock layers, generally more resistant to erosion than are the softer rocks. The dikes remain in place as water wears away the rest. Muddy columns standing together like organ pipes right are one of the varied patterns that result from water working on the vertical cracks in volcanic ash. Here the ravines between each fluted ridge are cut by tributaries running down the Wright River.